Hey everyone, Zipper here. So I did a video a little while ago on how to use MSI Afterburner to overclock, and I didn't like the way I did it. I didn't like the way I presented MSI Afterburner, and I didn't go into detail really on how to overclock properly. And I am sorry for that, and I'm going to do another video right now because I want to make sure that everybody can overclock without hindrance. It's not difficult to overclock, and I want to make sure that people know that. So first thing you're going to want to do is obviously download MSI Afterburner. I'll post a link in the description for you guys. And after that, go to settings. Also, the skin I use is called the Afterburner V3 Big Edition. The one you will probably get is it's this one. This is the base one. And if you click right there on that cogwheel, you can get to these settings and go to user interface and change it to this one. This is the one I'm using. It's the best for me. I like it the most. Anyways, after that, go to enable hardware control and monitoring. Enable all of these that are checked right here, especially unlock voltage control and unlock voltage monitoring. Those are going to be huge for when we're changing our core and memory values. Fan, this is a, you can do custom fan curves if you really want to, if you know what you're doing. You don't want to, mess up your card, so I wouldn't really touch this too much unless you are trying to go for a super high benchmark. Like this is my fan settings for when I was trying to go to a really high benchmark, which with my 1070, and I achieved it. But then I set this off. I don't use it at all for when I'm gaming. After that, I go to monitoring, and I use power, GPU temperature, GPU usage, core clock, memory usage, CPU temperature, CPU usage, RAM usage, and GPU voltage. Really, the only ones I really use are these five here: power, GPU temperature, GPU usage, core clock, and memory clock. Just because the other ones are more advanced, and I'm not showing you how to overclock your CPU or your RAM or anything like that. I'm just showing you how to overclock your graphics card. So after all that, make sure your core voltage is set to max plus 100%. Sorry, plus 100, and your power limit is plus 120%. Make sure you just max those both out. And I just want to reiterate this right now. You will not damage your card like this. That is a misconception. It's very difficult to damage your card with overclocking, especially with Afterburner, because you won't. It's very difficult to reach the thermal limit of your card without your card shutting down automatically on its own and reverting to its old settings. Anyways, so after you increase those to max, you're going to want to start on your core clock. Now, do not just jump to 155 because this is a fairly high overclock even for my card. You're going to want to start maybe at 50 to 60, and until 100 go up by tens. So if I was at 50 right now, and this is where I'm starting, okay, so I run my benchmark, I run heaven benchmark, or I run 3D mark. It's not there right now, but I run 3D mark, and after that I would increase it by 10. I would increase it by 10, so go up to 60, and then run it again to make sure it's stable. And then after all that, once you've reached your max you can, so I think my max is 170, but I do not play on 170. That's when I get artifacting and I get some issues with the card, and that's not what I want to do. So you're going to want to downscale just a little bit. So my max is 170, so I chose 155, which is still a little bit high for using a max for my maximum, but it's high enough to the point that I know my temperatures are going to be able to stay fairly decently at around in the 60s or 70s, which is okay. The thermal limit for this card is, I believe, 99 degrees or 100 degrees, so you're not even coming close. It would be very difficult to get to that without crashing, or just putting your fan to 0% and just running your game on 0% fan, which is ridiculous. Don't do that, please. Next, you come to memory clock. I would start around 3 to 4 or 500, depending on your card. If you have a super high-end card, you can start at maybe 500 megahertz plus, and just press apply, and then run your benchmark. And then after that, increase by around 50 max. So if I'm at 800 right now, which is my maximum memory clock that I want to go to, because at around 900 to 1000 I get artifacting, which is bad, and my card just starts shutting down. I would want to do 850 if I was going to go up. Maybe even 825, because I know that The artifacting starts at around 900 to 1,000. So I'm at 800. That's what I'm happy with. If you're happy with your overclock, just stay there. Don't go higher. There's no reason, really. You're not going to get that much more out of like 825. Really, the big jumps are going to be, you know, from, because you start at 0 with this, and your memory clock, your base memory clock is going to be like 5,000, which is pretty low. But if I raise mine to 800, you can see it goes back up to 5,800, which is good. You're not going to really see a difference with 825. It's not going to do anything. You're going to see a little bit of a rise on your memory clock, and that's about it. You won't see any FPS difference. The big difference is going to be from 0 to 800, obviously. The bigger numbers matter more. And then, like I said before, fan speed is kind of, you just let it do its own thing. Just set it to auto, don't touch it, especially if you're just going to game. It's for mining, this is completely different, by the way. I would not, your fan needs to be on a constant rate all the time. And the last thing you're going to want to do before you apply your settings, and you know, before you just shut off MSI Afterburner and you start gaming, or you shut off your computer, is this. I wish it was a bigger button, and I wish it was more like, it was a lot, you know, it's just easier to see if you have applied this overclocking at system startup. But for the love of God, click this button right here. Make sure it's green. Make sure it lights up green 100%, and leave it. Never take that off, and then press apply. That will apply your overclock at system startup. If you do not do that, it will take off your overclock and revert to factory settings as soon as you restart your computer. Okay, so after all that work you've done, you don't want to throw it away by not making sure that that little tiny green dot is not lit up. Anyways, that is how to overclock with the MSI Afterburner. Again, I will post a link in the description for you to download it if you haven't already, and follow this tutorial. Beyond that, don't push your cards past their limit. If you have artifacting, you know, don't keep playing with artifacting. If there's like, you know, giant spots on the screen that aren't rendering properly, you should probably downclock your card just a little bit to get rid of the artifacting. I hope you guys have learned something in this. This is useful for any graphics card that is supported by MSI Afterburner, which is pretty much literally everything on the market. I hope you know, don't have to buy a graphics card that's already pre-factory overclocked just because people don't know how. That's why I'm doing this video, so people can understand how to do overclocks by themselves without having to pay money to a company to do it out of the box. It's completely bull crap, and they're just trying to make you spend more money with something that you can do by yourself super easily. It's very not difficult at all to do. Anyways, have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.